And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
Yo, yo, yo!
Word up,
Hello,
brothers.
everybody.
What is going on, dudes?
Oh, what's crack-a-lackin'?
Man, what is today? Wednesday?
Hump day.
Hump day.
It is
Man.
our hump day. You know, we should do... Come on, let's start doing it.
Well, I mean, if you want to.
I'm doing the
How
dog hump,
creepy
just
is
the air
this?
hump.
So much going on around me.
I was gonna.
We should make like an Instagram video of that. Dude.
Yeah. There
you go.
Just us humping the air.
God.
Screech.
Yeah, man. I'm a little tired today, man. I'm ready to get rolling though. We got some fun articles, man. But I had to take the kids and the wife to the airport today. They're heading back to your neck of the woods, Greg.
Hell yeah.
so-
Come on back. Bring that sunshine with them.
Yeah, man.
Is it not warm there?
It's supposed to be nice.
It's nice. It's been, upper 60s,
Yeah.
lower
Okay.
70s.
She actually told me she was looking because she was putting, laundry and then packing all the bags and stuff the other day. She's like, yeah, it's going to be like 90 in Longview. It's going to be really nice, like high 80s. And then yesterday, she's like, oh, it's lowered in temperature. I'm like, of course.
I mean, next week should be pretty damn good. But
Yeah.
enough of this Weather Channel shit.
Yeah, no shit, dude. You can't trust any of that crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
91 minute, 70 the next.
They don't know what's gonna
Exactly.
Yeah, so no,
Get rid of 'em.
Yeah, we had to get her and the kids and everything, which was smooth operation. But regardless, I slept like crap, and I'm starting to get the Greg here. You know what I mean? I got a little
Yeah,
tickly
dude,
in the
it's
throat, a
that.
little congestion. Kind of sucks. I don't know why it is like that. Of course,
Dude, I got to tell you.
what?
I got one of those automated neti pots.
Oh.
They're the automatic ones, dude. And
Okay.
so it blows water up your nose in one nostril, and it sucks water out your nose out of the other nostril.
Man, it's like a water.
And so this thing,
What?
yes, it's like waterboarding for my sinuses.
You ever seen a
Yes,
neti
but it's
pot?
not torture.
No.
You it's the originals are just they kind of look like a teapot, and you pour the water into your nose and it cleans
You
out.
bend over, you have to
Yeah.
lean to one side, and
Yeah.
you pour it through,
and it'll come out,
drain out.
and get all the mucus and nastiness out.
It's
So he has
actually a really good natural way to get rid of sinus infections.
Sure.
I can see like if you have like infections and shit like that, but why would you normally just need to like get rid of everything out of your nose?
Allergies.
Yeah, it gets up that buildup that's kind of in there that you can't get, just blowing your nose and stuff. It's deep. And so I've seen some videos because I enjoy watching them where some real goop comes out. You know what I'm saying? There's
Dude, I'm telling you, so this thing is like automated. It has like its little boat at the bottom. So like
so you can see it.
when all this water comes out and it stops suctioning, it just goes, it just like all comes out in the bottom. I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
But damn, dude.
Yeah.
But
And like you put a little saline in there too, so it kind of cleans everything out too. It's like a
man.
little salt up there.
But wouldn't that like make you like choke?
No,
No,
you just breathe out of your mouth.
It
dude.
just like goes, in, out, It doesn't shoot it down your
I don't
fucking,
know.
like your esophagus.
It's all kind of connected, bro. Like you.
But it's
so your nose. So like
Yeah.
try to like just breathe out of your mouth and close off your nose. You can do this kind of thing where you close off the nasal cavity.
It's the same thing with like the string in your nose, bro. When you put the string in and pull it out and, you ever done that?
No,
You've never done that?
The spaghetti noodle, dude.
You've never done that?
not on purpose.
Oh, man.
Like I've
snort up.
puked before as a kid and had like a noodle or something come out of my nose.
No,
But
I'm saying
I've never like done shit on purpose where I'm just like flossing my face.
Yeah, you could do that.
Oh, floss that face.
Yeah, man.
Why?
I don't know. I have no idea why. I just you can do it.
I understand that you can do it.
I
but
feel like
just
somebody
because you
did it.
can doesn't mean you should.
Somebody did it on a show or something when I was younger, and I was like, I'm gonna try this. So you shove the string up there, and and you pull it out, and you're like, it's cool. I don't know. It's dumb, but
Yeah.
it's cool. I'm cool with it. But cool,
Right
man.
on,
That's
brother.
cool.
Well, hey,
Glad
so
you-
I'm just saying, like, if you're in a real pinch there, you can go get a neti
Yeah.
pot, all right?
Dude, I'm
And
all
that
about
thing will clean your shit.
I've actually never tried one personally.
We are not sponsored by Nutty Pot.
We're
by the
not.
way.
I'm not. I've never tried one.
It's a brand. I don't know if it's a brand, is it?
I don't know.
I think it's just
like one of those things.
But if you're listening, we will accept one.
Sure, absolutely.
Always looking
Greg
for
has
sponsors.
lots of experience with them. You
just
seem like
say
the guy
I
that would use a
motor-
neti pot.
I motorboated my sinuses.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
how about that?
Oh, okay.
And it worked. You saw some goop come out though. You saw some.
Yes.
Real,
A
There was
lot?
some goop. There was some droop.
I think. I feel like
that's gonna be made in Gwyneth Paltrow's new candle. I'll sell it to her.
I feel like that's like there's something nice about seeing it. I know it's gross, but like where they put the clearness at the bottom so you can see the shit. Even like the the ear cleaner stuff where you have the bowl that goes under your ear and you fucking squirt water and then you see the earwax fall into it.
It's a verification.
It's verification. You're like, holy moly, I want to do more of this now.
Exactly.
It's like when you clean your ear with a Q-tip and you have some wax on it, you're like, I did the job. You know what I mean? Like you're not supposed to do that, but I do. I clean my ears with Q-tips a lot.
I don't clean my ears a lot.
I do too much.
I just feel like that shit is there for a reason.
Well,
And-
like poop on your butt is there
much.
for a reason too, and you still wipe it. You know what I mean? Like you gotta clean off the the
Exactly.
holes.
Well, I don't have an
sometimes
over.
Mother Nature provides a little too much. You know what I mean?
If Chris was uncircumcised, he'd be like, keep that dick cheese. It's there for a reason.
yeah, exactly.
Smell be damned. I want the cheese on there. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah, it's like, come on. It was there
That's
for
what
a
I'm saying.
reason.
I
That's
feel
what
like
you're
there are
saying.
certain things like you're just, I don't know, like just like having nose hairs. People trim their nose hairs and stuff all the time. That shit's there for a reason.
Well, I listen.
Okay, but it's called hygiene, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta trim it up. You gotta take care of it a little
But see,
bit.
I can
It's
tell
like
right now. I'm looking at your
excesses.
nostrils. You don't have any hanging out, and
No.
I do, and I have to trim them up. Like you have to. You don't want to keep it in there. It's not good to like shave everything out. Waxing your nose hairs.
Yeah,
That's not a good
I
thing.
feel like that's not good.
No, but also it's not good when you got frays coming out your nose either.
Well,
when
it's
you
not a
can like
good- well,
blend
it's
them
not
with
a
your
good
mustache.
look.
Yeah,
But you're
trim those.
definitely fucking filtered more than anybody else. I guarantee.
True. I mean, it's
Hey,
better
it
than a
might make it
mask.
smell better too. You have your hairs hanging out your nose.
Maybe, dude.
What was that? I smell it.
Dude, I pulled one out the other day because it was
nose hair?
I could feel it. It was coming out, and I was like, I think I yanked it
Yeah.
out, and I was like, it was a good.
Oh
like,
yeah, I've had good
3/4 of an
inch
inch.
long ones before.
yeah. And I was like, how deep was that?
The
fucking
ones
thing?
that when you pull them
That's
out,
touching your
I
brain,
love
dude.
the
Yes.
ones that you can feel pull out way back. And
Yeah.
you're just like, kunk.
It was like a
You're just
COVID
oh
test.
my God.
I was like, that was that. It was up there that high. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the good ones.
But anyways, yeah. Make sure you wipe your butt. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
Hey,
wipe your
perfect
butt.
transition right there. Wipe your butt and leave a review on Apple, okay? Apple
yes.
Podcasts, leave a
yes.
review. If you're listening to this, wiping my ass is the best thing that I could do while I'm reading these reviews, okay? Because I'm
Yep.
like, hey, I'm on the toilet, nothing better to do than swipe through our reviews, right?
Absolutely, man. It helps. We have all new channels, guys. We're on every application, which we can't say we've been on for years.
Yeah.
So Spotify, I mean, that's a huge one that we've never been on. I mean, it's been years since we've been on it. So make sure you go on there and subscribe to all of them so that you have, or at least whatever one you prefer, because that helps, right? It helps us a lot.
Yeah. And rate and review. And I know there's some people that are like, hey, Spotify doesn't allow reviews. It's totally fine. Go on there and leave a 5-star. Anything helps, you guys.
It does.
And heads up from people that use Google Podcasts, our thing does show up on there now.
Woohoo!
So you just type it into the search, Last American Podcast, and there we are.
There we are. Yeah. So anyways, today was kind of cool because we're going to start a little bit earlier for us, not that you guys noticed, but we're jumping into this without really going through articles. Like we normally kind of just say, hey, this is what I got. This is what I think about it. But today it's all raw. You know what I'm saying?
Raw
Like,
dogging.
Raw news.
I see the articles, but I don't know what you're really thinking about them. So Greg, I know you had one that you really wanted to get into. It has to do with the brain.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, last week, just a couple days ago, we saw that Neuralink was approved by the FDA for the first human trials, right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what's your take on that? Before we jump into this new thing here, what's your take on that situation?
Well, kind of like we've always discussed, I think that there's some really good benefits for people who are disabled and people who have trouble speaking, trouble walking, trouble doing anything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the reconnectivity there and the progress and the hope that people have, I think that that's really beautiful. But there's also the transhumanist side of things where it's like, okay, now you're connecting tissue to robotry?
Robotry.
Sounds like
And I'm
pottery.
like, yeah. And I'm like,
Robotry?
I don't know if I like this. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there would definitely, I would assume there definitely has to be some kind of protocols set in place, so it just can't be accessed from anywhere, right?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is if
Dunno.
it becomes cosmetic is where it's going to be a problem. If you can electively
it's
go get
definitely
one
gonna-
enhance.
It's probably going to be medical health initially, but it's
Yeah.
definitely going to become cosmetic.
I'm not that.
That's the way it all is.
I'm
Like
not
just
that
like
against
plastic
this, though.
surgery was originally it was for like burn victims and like people that have like had
That's actually a
horrendous
really good
accidents and
point.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then now it's just become a fad that they do to make themselves
yeah.
appear better to
That
themselves.
will be a warning for me. Like if this becomes highly available
Yeah.
at low cost
Yeah.
and they want everybody to get it, that's a trigger warning for me.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Because that's that cosmetic thing that I'm talking about. That's where it's like, if you have an ailment and you need it, because as far as robotics and human, I'm not that opposed to it. I know that may not be the most popular opinion with our audience, but like there are people that lose limbs that have robotic arms and stuff, and I think it's very beneficial to them. You know, where they're able to do it, and the technology is there where they can actually still grab things and because some of that stuff's amazing, bro. Like your muscles moving
like,
will move the fingers.
utilizing robotronics. Is that a word?
Robotronics.
To keep up quality of life.
It's tech, using tech to
Yeah.
help you with your everyday life. It's fine if you need it.
Dude, it's Robotronics, so that's what Target got in all this huffle about. They were supporting these Robotrans.
See, that's the new Target.
Is that actually
2.0.
what transhumanism is?
Yeah, I think Target 2.0
Yes,
is going to
dude.
be 30 years down the road when they have a whole section of implant chips, and people are like, they're selling this shit to the kids, bro.
Yeah.
They're selling it to the fucking kids. Like, look at this
Yeah,
chip.
they
This
got
is
'em-
made for infants.
They got them on the shelf at Walmart, just right beside the SD cards.
Yep. And the commercial
Yeah.
will say, "Do you want your baby to walk earlier? Put this new chip in." You know what I mean?
Do you want your 10-year-old to be smarter than you?
Yeah.
God.
Is your baby not toilet trained yet?
Fuck, can
this
you
chip will
can
do
you
it.
imagine if it actually got to that point where
I
you're
could-
just like from the very get go, your brain absorbs all information. You're just no one's
Well, I mean,
has to learn anything.
that's
Yeah, your
to Greg's
education
point.
comes in a chip.
Yeah,
right?
It's an upgrade. It literally, like the movie
Yes.
Upgrade. It's literally a point where that's the scary stuff. And I think that's what Greg's talking about. If it gets to the point where you can put something in your body that enhances something quicker or makes you more in tune with a certain aspect, that's where it becomes really scary. Because then there will be people that are saying, "I'd love my kid to be able to walk sooner, talk sooner, use the bathroom sooner," because we can literally just put the chip in and advance
You
him
become superhuman. at that
10
point.
years in the matter of a minute.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this is where I want to kind of introduce Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. He's a top advisor for the World Economic Forum. Okay. This is the whole Klaus Schwab take over the world. Yes. So there's a couple videos of him speaking where he's saying that we've become hackable animals. Here's a quote. He says, "Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and nobody knows what's happening inside them and they have free will, that's over." Okay? And you have this video down here where it says FDA approves Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Yeah.
You can play this video here, and it has him kind of talking about this.
God, it's like a
Or-
scary Chester Bennington right there.
Yeah. There's two videos. So I mean, you could play this first one here with the from Mark Neugebauer, whatever the hell it is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
We'll play it.
What we have seen so far, it's corporations and governments collecting data
music.
about where we go, who we meet, what movies we watch. The next phase is the surveillance going under our skin. We now see
Yeah.
Okay, so he's talking about surveillance going under the skin. That was a clip from 60 Minutes.
Well, I mean,
And-
that was a 60 Minutes clip and then music added.
Somebody
in,
added
unfortunately.
music to it.
Stupid.
Oh, okay. We'll go down to the other one. There might not be music on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
The one
no
by
music on this.
David
next one.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Posted by David
Yes.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, let me read this. Well, I'll just go ahead and play it.
Okay.
Okay.
This one's only a minute, so.
But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. Data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. And if indeed
Yeah.
we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology, since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago.
That's scary.
Scary.
I don't call that
Engineering human
Is that
beings.
biology at that point?
I don't
though?
call that the greatest thing ever. That's the scariest thing ever. That you're messing with life. It already
And now,
functions.
as soon as you're able to gain access, now you can engineer whatever you want.
That's some Satanist shit right there, if you ask me.
Well, dude, that's why so many people are against this transhumanist movement, because it's like it goes against God's natural body, the natural tissue created by the Lord up above. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. But I remember seeing this a couple years back. This was like 2020, if I'm not mistaken, from that video. I remember this from a while back. We had talked about it, I think, briefly, even, that this was like scary as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is like a line, you know what I mean? Like having people in my family that could use this technology to have a better life is one thing. And I totally see the positivity behind it.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't speak for myself. I'm sorry, but we all have somebody that we know. I know, I'm a dick. We all have somebody in our lives that could have benefited.
Yeah,
from
mine
this.
too. My family. Nah, I'm just kidding.
But the problem is that's not, to me, like having a chip to help, kind of reconnect. Like with my mom's MS, you have nerve damage, and the spinal cord loses the tissue around it, which allows the electricity to not hit where it's supposed to. It escapes, and so having that connection is important. I think it would make a huge difference. But that's not, to me, that's not taking over a human body. Like what he's talking about, hacking a body. That's a whole nother level.
Now, I do have to give this guy some credit. So there is one last video that I want you to play, because he does talk about the control of these things. Okay, like so he actually put out this tweet on his own personal Twitter.
Okay.
Where he's saying, like, here's an original post where I'm talking about we need to control these things.
Yeah.
So that way AI kind of can disclose that it's AI. You understand where AI is and the dangers of AI. You know what I mean? Kind of maybe going along the side with these transhumanist things.
And the first regulation, there are many regulations we could suggest, but the first regulation that I would suggest is to make it mandatory for AI to disclose that it is an AI. If I'm having a conversation with someone and I cannot tell whether
Fucking Twitter.
Twitter has that shit. I hate that, dude. It's like they give you a teaser. Finish that up,
There
dude.
you go.
if I'm having a conversation with someone and I cannot tell whether this is a human being or an AI, that's the end of democracy. Because that's the end of meaningful public conversations.
That's not good enough. I'm sorry. That's not good enough. That's
Right?
not good enough for me.
It's not good enough.
Oh, it's the story. He's basically talking about like an iRobot, or is it iRobot where they have to have the laws. The AI has laws it has to abide by.
I've never
Okay.
seen that.
But so here's the thing: is what if you hack the AI?
Well,
What
that's
if you have a hacker that just basically takes over the whole system and
Well-
says, AI, you don't have to disclose shit.
that's kind of what happened in iRobot. Is it wasn't that they were hacked, that the person developed them decided to start removing laws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there's a real stark
If I remember
difference
correctly.
between like having a chip that helps electrical impulses and stuff, to kind of help bridge a gap. That's different than like putting it in your brain and having it take over as the main source. Like those are very, very different things. If you're talking about an ailment, you're paralyzed, for example, right? And you put a chip in and now you have stimulation in your body that allows you to walk again. That's very different than saying this thing now can hack your brain and make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. I mean, you are not
so
normally
this-
Yeah,
able to
that's a
walk,
lot
but
different.
Not so far different though, because if we go to this article, this is an article about this brain implant allows a paralyzed man to walk again, but it does so through his thoughts. Okay, so a Dutch man was paralyzed. His legs were paralyzed. Can now stand and walk thanks to a wireless brain-spine interface.
okay.
And this responds to his thoughts by moving his legs. So this thing works off of his thoughts.
Well,
Not
I mean,
just what it wants him to do. Right? So if you can hack somebody's thoughts, you can make them do things. You can make their body do things.
but aren't
Well,
you?
it picks up on electrical signals, is what it does.
Yeah, aren't you technically doing that anyways when you move and just blink? You're not like obviously you're not going blink, and just blinking.
Well, yeah.
But your brain is saying it's time to blink. You know what I mean?
But it's two different nervous systems. That's
Sure.
the autonomic nervous system.
Yeah,
and then you have
that's what they're saying right here. This taps into though. The Oscom now has a brain implant that picks up signals of the movement that in a healthy person would travel down the spinal cord and cause the legs to move.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, that implant transmits those signals wirelessly to a second implant located in his lower spine,
Yeah.
which then stimulates the muscles. So it's like it takes the signal, goes to the chip, sends that to the other chip, and bypasses the part of the back or those nerves that don't work.
Yeah. What's your concern with it? Like as far as
Well, I
because
don't
he can
know. I
think
don't know
it?
if it's necessarily a concern. It's more of like a it's potential concern. But it's like if you have these devices that are working off of thoughts, and you have this Yuval Noah Harari, whatever, he's saying that we're hackable animals.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're putting a chip into our body that may be hackable, like
Well,
more easily.
Yeah, and if there's transferring signals wirelessly to the second chip or whatever it is, in this case, that's bypassing the damaged area, then if it's wirelessly, then there's probably an access point someone could hack into.
Right.
And in this case, they can just make him walk wherever he wants to.
And
Yeah, that's-
didn't we just cover an article about people hacking dreams? And
yeah.
advertisers and all these like Coca-Cola and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They were like trying to hack people's dreams in order to sell them advertisements.
That'd be true.
What if-
That's true, actually. Like if your brain is signaling the chip to signal this other chip, can you hack into that chip and make it send a signal the other direction?
why not?
Yeah, you could, and that's where that's where that weird line comes into play. Because if you are able to think and be able to walk, like you have free thoughts still.
Yeah.
But the minute that you start imposing things into the chip that you're not thinking how you would normally think, is where it becomes problematic to me. Like if it's just an enhancer to you and you have full control of your own body, like I can move when I want to, not when it tells me to, then, I don't really have an issue. But the issue I see with it is that that's such a fine line.
It's so corruptible.
It's so corruptible. And like, just because it is that way now in a year or 2 or 5, it may be totally different. They may say, well, hey, we're going to actually add advertisement. If you get the chip, every couple nights you're going to see
It's
advertisements.
going to be like a Netflix
Exactly.
subscription where you can have the ads, low level, but then you can pay more for like no ads.
Yeah, it's like it's $100 grand.
Yes.
It's $100 to get the chip, but it's only going to cost you $40 if you're willing to take some advertisements.
Oh, dude, what if you could watch TV in your dreams? You're like, dude, I've always wanted to watch this fucking movie. I can do it now when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I mean that would
man.
suck. I feel like then I would talk to you and be like, "Yeah, I watched that, but I don't remember anything about it."
No, but what if you remembered it? Like, what if you actually remembered it even more?
Yeah,
it
because
was like,
then it could tap into your memory part of your brain and actually make you save it in there.
That's weird because like
Not
half
only
our
that.
lives we sleep. So it's
Yeah.
like how much can
Yes.
you? That's the selling point. It's like look how much you can get done while
yes.
you're not even active.
yeah.
yeah, and actually, what if it's not just watching a movie? You're in the movie. Okay.
It's like virtual reality, like the real
Yes.
deal.
The ultimate virtual reality.
I think a lot.
So I'm just saying that's a potential, but
It's basically
so-
Dave hasn't seen it, but Inception.
Yeah, it's
yes.
probably something like that.
Well, and that's what that article was saying, that that's what these advertisers were paying to do, is hack people's dreams. But this article refers to this digital bridge that you guys were kind of talking about, right? So this guy suffered a spinal cord injury 11 years ago from a bike accident in China that left him unable to walk, okay? Now, researchers for years have been trying to restore the ability to walk using nerve stimulators that are implanted in spinal cords. But these the test subjects often walked robotically and were unable to adapt their leg movements to different terrain, right?
Oh.
And so this guy's research took the next step into this spinal stimulation to actually create more natural strides. Okay, so that it looks more natural, right?
So it looks more like Biden.
See, that's weird.
There you
What's
go.
weird to me, if this bridge they were creating is basically just transferring the signal and not actually operating your body, why wouldn't your legs and whatever just move like they would have normally moved?
What do you mean?
It's just transferring the signal. It's not a different signal. Your brain is sending the signal. Those chips are just bridging over the part of your circuitry.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pacemaker.
Bridging
right?
over
It's
your
telling you.
circuitry that doesn't work.
I feel like the reason that it wouldn't is because I think that our spinal cord is such a complex thing that it's kind of like HDMI compared to like auxiliary. You know, like we can give an auxiliary, but it's not the fucking real deal. You know what I mean? Like no matter how much you try.
Or did he not walk the way he was supposed to because he already hadn't walked for 11 years?
Well, so now you bring up a good point because now this is the interesting part of the article that I want to talk about, okay? So his name's Oskam, right? His last name's Oskam. So Oskam says that he can now walk up to 100 to 200 meters. That's about 660 feet at a time, and stand without using his hands for about 2 to 3 minutes. But the device has also improved Oskam's neurological recovery. He's been able to walk with crutches even with the implant switched off.
Oh.
So it's allowing his natural neurological abilities to regrow.
Yeah, it's almost regenerative.
Yes.
That's interesting. So that would be actually rather amazing, honestly.
Yeah. Almost like if you had this put in and then as you had it over time, you could have it removed because now your neurological system works like it's supposed to.
Well, it makes you wonder, instead of having like a permanent implant, could you use it as a rehabilitation, right? So you get in a car accident and you have to learn new things. Like they're going to put a temporary chip in you and that will help your body regenerate and kind of get the nerves functioning and back. Because that's a lot of it. The nerve damage is that it's lack of stimulation, right? So they kind of, they don't die per se, but they aren't used and so if you can re-stimulate those, they might get function back. It's kind of like when your heart dies or when you die and people are giving you chest compressions, it allows it to fucking go. You know what I mean? The electricity.
So now, this is saying the brain-spine interface has also appeared to speed Oskam's recovery after 40 sessions of neuro rehabilitation. His ability to walk has significantly improved. He can move independently around his house, get in and out of his car, or even have a drink with his friends standing at a bar. So the stimulation from this brain implant has caused him to actually rehabilitate his spinal function.
Yeah.
To a certain point. You know
so
what
I
mean?
see this. It says Oskam already had spinal stimulator implanted in his back. So he already had a stimulator. And he said it wasn't completely natural. The stimulation before was controlling me, and now I'm controlling stimulation by my thought. So the way that it was before is it was kind of dictating his movement. Now he's dictating his own movement.
Yep, because it was built in with like this simulation. He'd be like, I want to walk over here. Go. You know what I mean? He'd be like,
Dude, I mean, listen, it's really scary, and a lot, like, it's, for me, it's just so hard to, like, when it comes to new technology, it's like you always think the worst. There are positives to it, and I think that if you're in a situation where it's beneficial, like, you think this is a great thing, but it's hard not to look at the negatives, you know what I mean, because of the amount of stuff we've seen in the news over the past couple of years, and the fact that they could take advantage of this, and what Hitler was doing, where he's trying to have these robotic armies and these weird soldiers. Like, if the soldiers and the militaries around the world start putting this into, even temporarily, into soldiers, that's scary shit, bro.
Yeah,
that's a Black Mirror
I feel
episode.
like everything has a slippery slope. Everything does, and you can always see that slope, and you're always going to be concerned about it.
And then we worry about regulation. It's like, how much are they actually going to come together and regulate this? Look how messy regulations are right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's going to be a messy thing to get people to agree that there needs to be regulation, and how far the regulation goes with it. That's also scary.
When can you trust the regulators? You know what I mean?
No.
Like, who's going to regulate this? NIH? No thanks. CDC? No thanks.
Well, also, it's like the whole gun situation. You know, it's like they want the citizens to have no guns, but they want the military to be have lots of weapons. So it's like you could regulate the general public, but then like boast it with the military. And all of a sudden, it's like we have these super militaries that we can't combat. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so that's a huge, huge concern with me.
Yeah.
And somebody like China, for example, or even Russia in desperation, or North Korea,
who wouldn't give their people any choice. They just start implementing their soldiers, and then now what?
Yeah. So you have a smaller army that's even more powerful than a larger army because they're enhanced.
Yeah.
And that's shit. Like, I know it sounds like a movie, but that's stuff you actually have to think about.
Yeah, we're getting to that point in time where like technology is getting so advanced now that.
And how do we know they're not already doing it?
They could be.
They could.
You know, I mean, honestly, Department of Defense has the most budget, like black budget, the most insane amount of money to spend on
at the very
whatever.
least, they've been doing testing of it.
100%.
Yeah.
If we're hearing about it now, they've already been doing it.
Yeah.
There's
the way I
no
like to
doubt.
think about it too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, and it's alarming. I like I said before, I understand that there are some real positives to this, and technology is going to grow because of needs of people, and we do have a lot of people that are paralyzed. We have a lot of people that have ailments that can't walk, and I think every single one of those would say I would do anything to be able to walk again. So that anything is the question. Like, how far are you willing to change your body to get back something that you don't have? And
Now,
I would argue
will
most
say,
would go pretty far.
because of that, that's where I would be like, okay, this is a red flag to me. If they start saying, hey, these things cost a lot of money, so your insurance better cover this or you're going to have to pay out of pocket, right? They start out with that, but then when they move to, hey, this works so well, we want everybody to do this like at a low budget. We want everybody to have this more and more and more.
It's like contacts or glasses.
That's where I would be very concerned in saying like, okay, they want this in people's bodies. And they're doing, and this thing costs a lot of money to implant. What are we doing here, right? So who's paying for it? Why are they willing to actually take this bill? You know,
Dude, I think you could argue kind of weird sci-fi effect, but the whole idea that robots are taking over our jobs, it's like you can't beat them, let's join them. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, if they're out there doing all these new things with jobs where the robots are doing everything now. Right? Like this enhancement will actually make you as good as the robot, and we can actually hire you at this point because you would be more serviceable than the actual robot.
that's Elon Musk's approach. He says that AI, like Elon Musk has been, actually I have a video of him on Twitter, but he said something about like how AI is one of the most dangerous things in the world to humanity. But then he's also coming out with this Neuralink chip, and you're like, well, wait, which one is it? Because you're kind of like integrating AI into people. And are you doing this, though, to kind of help salvage humanity and help humanity combat AI?
Yeah, I would be curious what the average listener thinks about it. But listen, you can say that something's terrible and still want to move forward with it, right? You can admit, like, for example, like cars are great. They help us with transportation, but they also can be deadly, right? If used wrong or anything. Medication is great, but it can also be a problem. Especially when there's an addiction to it or some other aspect. So like, I don't think you should just not do it, but you have to be regulated. And to your point, Greg, like who's regulating it? That's the end of the thing. I think if he does this, what he's saying, and is using it for good reasons, that's great. It's just who's going to use it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Nuclear bombs are great because it's a deterrent. But then who gets their hands on it next? And it's
Nuclear bombs are great.
Well, listen.
I don't know.
Well,
listen,
the nuclear technology in itself is great.
Sure.
But when you start using it to blow people up is when it's a problem.
But I'm saying, like, it's been used before, right? We've used it to an extent, right? So all I'm saying is like having it in your arsenal is beneficial because we have control and power. We can say, don't do that because we have this. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with a new fighter jet. Any of that stuff, any military thing, right?
Same thing with a UFO. Hey,
Sure.
don't fuck with us. We got UFOs, bitches.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying it's a technology.
If you have UFOs, is it actually a UFO now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, to everybody else, it is.
Identified flying object.
yeah,
It would be an IFO.
It's just a foe. It's a flying object at that point. It's just the foe.
Yeah.
So I just have one last video, and this is Elon Musk talking about Neuralink restoring vision, okay, for the blind.
Okay.
This is the Doge designer tweet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Even if someone has never had vision ever, like they were born blind, we believe we can still restore vision. Because the visual part of the cortex is still there. Even if they've never seen before, we're confident that they could see. Even if
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That is hard to listen to. Folks. Sorry about that.
I don't know. There's something kind of soothing about his voice. I gotta be honest with you. Like if he was talking to
Fall
me
asleep
like,
to it?
"You're a great person," okay,
There's a
like the self-help videos. Like he should do that on the side. for sure.
he just goes
Well, he's not wrong.
there's a
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good things about you.
yeah.
You'd have to add in some
Yeah.
stuttering too.
A little background
You have a
music.
nice
There's-
voice.
There's
But here's the thing:
very-
if you were blind, why would you not want this? If somebody came to you, a doctor said, "Hey, listen, we can put this chip in you, and we can actually restore your vision to 90%."
Or if you have a kid and they're born blind, and then while you're at the hospital, the doctor's like, "We know that your son or daughter is blind. There's a procedure we can do to actually regain their sight."
Yeah. I mean, like hearing everything. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you say that it's problematic, but for somebody who's suffering from something that they, and I wouldn't even say it's suffering. A lot of people are blind, especially at birth. They don't even know. You know what I mean? Like their whole life is that way. So it's not like it's crazy to them. But I don't.
My only request is if he actually is successful in making people see that could never see before, can you make an attachment to it that you can control it with an app on your phone, and then you can change like your vision to like X-ray or infrared.
Oh yeah, I want to see through locker rooms, baby.
Yeah, he is his own ghost hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got all of it. He's like, I see infrared right now over there. That's some crazy shit.
That would be sick.
Again, another application for the military. Yeah. Night vision.
And Zach Bagans, he would be signing up immediately just to kind of boast it. You ever see those videos of people who are colorblind and they get those new glasses?
Yeah. I was actually just thinking about that.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, that's a good example. And that's something like colorblind. You can still see. You're not seeing it the way that everybody else sees it.
Yeah.
And when you watch those videos, I mean, majority of the time, they break down
super
crying.
Emotional. Yeah.
And it's like you really don't understand until you're in that situation, like how some of this technology just improves somebody's life that much.
I remember seeing one where a guy got a pair of those glasses, and it was like they gave it to him for like his 70th birthday or something like that. And he put them on outside, and they lived out in the woods or whatever. And he put them on, and you could see like the trees and like how vibrant everything was for the first time.
It goes a long ways, man. And I think
They're
shows
heartwarming.
Yeah, they are, but it shows you how a little thing can make a huge difference in somebody's life. And that's why it's hard to just throw this out as like, this is really bad. Because to some people this is going to be life-changing.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like everything else, man. And Greg, you always say, like, in moderation, right? Like, give this to the people that absolutely need it. Let's not make sure that it's this public thing you can buy at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like that, when it gets to that point where Walmart has a chip, like they have the, the glasses store, they have a chip store. That's when it's like, whoa, what are we doing right now?
Which chip do you want? Yeah, you want to be as smart as this guy? As smart as this guy?
It might get to that point.
Well,
regardless.
You're turning dumbass people into something bigger than they should be. Because I think you're born a certain way and you stay in your lane, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this chip takes you out of that lane.
How dare you try to be smarter?
I could totally see it like that, where they're advertising a certain IQ levels for different chips. Like, what do you really want to know about? Do you want to know about this? Okay, well, you're going to have to pay this much money for this next chip upgrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you were more capable, if you were able to, at a point in life, that everybody was able to have these chips and make them more capable of, retaining information, understanding things, being smarter, faster, better, stronger, why would anybody want to work a shitty job? I feel like it's a job killer. I feel like why would you want to work at McDonald's when your chip is allowing you to like be a fucking architect? You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Like everybody could be.
Look at the functionality and the capabilities of Chat GPT, and imagine if that was in your brain.
Yeah.
You could write essays on the fly. You could come up with the response to anything, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's programmed. You would know the answer to anything, to any question, like just immediately.
Dude, I was just thinking, it's like Jimmy's first day of school. And the mom just like, are you ready for your first day? And then he's like, yeah. And then she plugs him in. And then she goes, you graduated. It's like immediate. You know what I'm saying? He did it. Jimmy passed the 5th grade. It took 5 minutes to download.
Like, he wakes up in the morning. You ready for school? Yeah. And she goes, plugs him in. And then like she rolls out the graduation card right there.
I feel like because our bodies grow and we always grow, I feel like even if you could implement everything into a one upload, like if this was in a child, if down the road, if they implanted into a child, there's no way that you could implant all that information into a child. They wouldn't even know what to do with it. Their body is not capable, right? Yeah. So even if you got to a weird sci-fi point, like you'd almost have to do it like every year you get an upgrade until you hit 18, and that's when you're fully
progress things.
You progress it naturally. Yeah. But even that to me would be like, I would be fucking scared about that. I would be like, no, dude, this is weird. Because then all of a sudden you could live longer. Your body would be just capable to regenerate.
Oh yeah.
Know when there's ailments. Like, oh god, dude. I'm not in favor of that.
That's the next step of medicine. I feel like we're
Yeah.
getting to that point where like it's
Your
detection.
your body can automatically detect things and
Yeah.
get rid of them on their own.
I saw this thing the other day. It just passed through and it said it was like some doctor or something. He was like, if you're under 50 years old right now, you have a great chance to be able to live to 140 with modern medicine that's coming out. And like just
Dude,
under 50.
Look at Bacon Cheeseburger, dude. I mean, she made it till like what 3 bouts of cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man. She was like almost 100.
It's wild to think about. I'm not
Well,
saying
I mean,
that's
even
real,
just
but
cancer. What if they develop this thing, this chip, where it has access to all the information? So now your body now knows how to combat it on its own.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No,
Or
and
like
it'll
early
detect
detection.
it like
Yeah.
yes, it'll detect it and be like, hey, you have this. They were actually the military was testing something about that with the Big C Little V jab. They were saying, hey, we have a jab. We developed one that would actually help detect, or it was like a ring or a device that you'd put on your body, right? And people were like, oh, this is just like smartware because you want to track people. But they were saying that if you wear it, it would like measure your body's responses and stuff and tell you, hey, it looks like you're coming down with this sickness, so you might want to take these.
Yeah.
kinda
So
stuff.
it's like a preventative thing.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, like preventative medicine, I think is the best. Like any way you can like get something early detection would obviously save on the healthcare system.
Yeah.
A lot, because a lot of the issue we have is people are coming in late with diagnosis, and it's like you're spending a ton of money on something that may not even work at that point. So I mean, I understand there's like health benefits and cost benefits to it, but damn, dude, that's the point where I would be very against this, and that could be our entire generation, right? The new generation may not, because that would be the new norm.
Yeah.
But for us, who's like, well, we didn't live with that most of our lives, it would be very hard to transition into that.
Like all of our grandkids will have brain chips, and they'll be like, "Oh, Grandpa, he's slow because he didn't even want to get chipped."
Yeah, why not? I mean, our grandparents probably never thought that we'd have these little computers on our hips at all times. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's very
you
much the
remember
same.
like being in school and like they're like, you're not always gonna have a calculator with you. Well, fuck, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who needs anything at that point, right? So it's scary, man, and it's also there's some parts of it that I go it's really quite amazing. The technology is quite amazing at the same time. So how do you navigate that going forward? I mean, I don't trust our leaders, and that's where I come to
Not
the
right
biggest-
now.
Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't know if I ever would, because I feel like
If
anybody's
you don't trust
corruptible.
them now, how could you trust them in the future?
Well,
you know what
I
I mean,
mean-
like you know what it's capable of. You know that people are exploitable, right?
Well, I mean, at some point you got to trust something. Otherwise, you're fucking a miserable.
Well, you can
life.
trust a lot, but anytime somebody has the power to make a rule over yourself,
and that's
it's going to be hard to
and
trust.
that's under the assumption that nothing is ever going to get better.
Well, no, it'll get better, but it'll also get worse, and then you have to keep an eye on it. It's like when you know that it will get worse,
Or
what
it
will
can
you do
get
about
worse.
it? Yeah,
Not that it
But I
will.
mean, eventually, I think things will become corruptible because if you have power, power is corruptible, right?
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before it becomes corrupt. So what are you going to do about it when it gets to that point?
Yeah, I mean, we can't even stop these people from being in office for 40 years. We can't stop them from buying stocks, let alone having them say, because all they're going to do is say, like, I don't do anything that
Yeah.
dictates
Exactly.
it. And it's like, yeah, you do. We see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making law that benefits
Well,
you.
and that's what I'm saying. There's in the future, there's got to be moves made to make things different.
I mean, can you imagine if they just hacked into everybody that had a chip and just said, vote Democrat? Vote
Oh
Democrat.
yeah,
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
why not?
If they
There's
could
got
put
to
it,
be. There's got to be rules, man.
and Hillary's like,
She's the worst. She's hitting the button.
Hillary's 200 years old, and she's
Yeah.
going, I'm running for president in 2654.
yeah, I don't have those seizures
That was
anymore,
way
folks.
That was way over 200 years. But
Yeah, man. I mean, she could run again if she got this thing. Think about that.
oh God.
Oh boy.
A spry
anyway,
new juiced up Hillary. Ugh.
don't want to
Scary.
get into election stuff because
I'm saying if she got a chip, if you could live to 150 now, you want people around 150 years? That's what I'm saying. I don't care about the fucking election. I'm saying, do you really want all people to live 150 years? You want Nancy Pelosi to live 150 years, where she can run for office another 60 years and she's still like functioning? It's scary, bro.
what if there's a speed up life function where you just go, yeah, I want them to die, Bzz, speed up their life. Okay.
And you just watch them go
like,
through like 50 years of age.
Yeah, it's like that Indiana Jones scene. You know what I mean?
If we-
Like,
if
touch
we-
the stone.
If we
You
could
wither.
get to a point where we live for 120 to 140 years, if there was ever a point where we live that long, like the general public lives that long, you could literally have people in office for a century.
Like people in the Bible.
Like think about
Yeah.
that. Like you could have a guy who's like, here's the deal. Why would they not want it? Because now you're living longer, which means you get taxed more. They make a lot more money on you. You can work now until you're 110. The taxes coming in would be great.
You got to be able-bodied, though. So that's
Yeah.
the thing is, if you're living longer, you don't just want to be a couch potato or a
Well, that's
vegetable,
why
right?
they're
Like, you have to
starting
be-
the way they're starting, making everyone able-bodied.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would, Greg. I think if you had the capability to live to 140, you would say like, how functional am I at 100?
With a chip, you're fully functional.
That's what I'm saying. If you're still mobile and thinking clearly, but then you start getting down a weird path. Then they could also start saying like, hey, this is why we have to have abortion because people are living longer. We can't have everybody.
Exactly, dude. Yes, you're going down the whole thing. That's what they want to do.
That's what I'm saying. If you have people around longer, then you could start to say those things and have people go, they're right, man. If we keep having all these
Well, I
kids
think
that are
if
not wanted.
everyone started living longer, I think people would just have less kids automatically.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Listen, if there's some people that in this lifetime of, let's say, 70, 80 years, having 10 kids, if they were like, I could double that.
There's not as many people having 10 kids. Definitely not as
I don't know,
back
man.
in like the 40s, 50s, or whatever. I remember my dad's family had 6 kids.
Yeah, so did mine. Like 7 or so.
Really? My grandma had 9.
Yeah,
I think my
and
dad had like 6 brothers and 1 sister.
But see, I don't mean this negatively because it's not the case in general. But like, I feel like a lot of that's like lower income families have a lot of kids. My grandma was very like low income with my grandpa. And they had a lot of children. If you look back in the older days, they had more children because not all of them lived. You know, like let's be real. You had kids because some died and the medical wasn't always there.
You're talking like wild, wild west. Like
Even in the
1800s, right?
20s and 30s, like I think that people just had more children. You know, regardless of how much you made, you just had a lot of children. You did what you could. You know what I'm saying? Now it's reversed to where it's rare for even a lot of the new generation to have children. They'd rather work.
Yeah.
And which is weird,
so
right?
Dave, you're definitely onto something because even the Raelians, remember that UFO cult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They believe that you shouldn't have children because you can clone your own body before you die. And then you'll just get to live again.
Oh, that's weird.
So I'm like, what?
But I mean,
It's almost the same thing. I mean, if you're living longer with these chips,
yeah.
Well, that's
I mean,
true.
what's
And-
to say that like I can't just put my chip into a different body and then I can transfer my thoughts?
Yeah, how long before these chips that are make everything better in life for you are able to download everything about your life, and then you just transplant it into something else?
A new body.
I'm just saying, if you could live that long, this earth would be very overloaded. Like when you talk about too populated, we would get to that point in the next 200 years. Just
Yeah?
because there wouldn't be like the birth and death and birth and you know what I mean, like that natural.
And then how long, instead of cloning your body, how long before, if you were able to download everything into this chip now that you now have, now you just put that chip into an actual robot, and you're not even human anymore at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's like that one show, Altered Carbon. That's kind of the same idea where you transfer into a new body.
Yeah.
I just think that think of like electric cars and like how many things that you have to have in order to make that work. Like all the precious stone and the cobalt and all the other shit that you need, right? It's very hard. And so to build a whole generation of robots, I feel like there would be issues.
Well, I mean, if they can figure out how the electrical system works in the human body, they can replicate that.
No, I would say why make robots when you have human tissue and bodies right now? So I feel like that's what it would be. It would be like, why do we need to create an army of
Because it's
robots?
easier to replace parts on a robot and live
Well,
even
and then
longer.
human bodies
Maybe.
wear down, dude. I mean, like the aging process is still there.
But see, that's the thing, though, is that we've also seen technology that says that aging is a disease
It's
and that we
going
can
to
actually
be-
reverse it.
Yeah, they're saying within the next few
Oh.
years
And
it can be
that's-
classified as a disease.
Yes.
And it's treatable.
And that's why they're saying if you're under 50, you could actually live to 140 because there's things that can reverse the process and make you healthier longer. And so that's what I'm saying. Like if they get to a point where they figure out how to do that,
Dude, so
Game over,
go,
bros.
Go to the bookmarks real quick and
Okay.
go to a tweet by Neuralink, and you'll see like this pink bar and or a pink line and a green line.
Yeah.
Right. So pull that up and read what this says. Because
Waveforms here.
These are
Yes,
the
dude.
first waveforms produced by our next generation stimulation.
So show the people there.
ASIC on benchtop. This custom chip unlocks the ability to support 16K plus channels with sufficient voltage and current and the fine control required to restore vision or reanimate the body, something we hope
Reanimate the body.
to do in the future.
Oh.
It's almost
See?
exact.
Reanimate the fucking body, bro.
Yeah, I feel like
And
if-
people like were leaving comments like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Bringing people back from the dead.
Yeah, dude.
I look at it more of instead of coming back to life, let's say you live to 140. I'm just going to keep using that because that was the number. Let's say you can live to 140. At 70, halfway through your new lifespan, you could restart. You could literally get an upgrade, reanimate yourself, go a lot younger, and be a totally functioning, have a whole nother life. So instead of coming back to life, you just reinvent the life.
As physically a different person.
No, it's the same person. It's just, hey, we're going to freshen you up, man. It's like getting a whole fucking restoration job. You know what I'm saying? So that second part of your life,
But-
you could literally live
well,
a
that
whole
would
separate
that
life.
would be the question. Would these chips be able to, like, with the same thing we were just talking about, being a disease? If you were to upgrade, would it reverse all those effects?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm
But
just
I'm
saying.
just saying, like, so when I first saw this, like, reanimate the body, I was thinking, like,
Zombies!
CPR. No, just like somebody who had a heart attack, like, right away, and then just, like,
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
They were dead for, like, minutes.
And then
you
they,
could just-
okay, we got this chip, plug them in, and then they're back.
Sure.
Exactly.
Why would you not, right? If your heart stops and they have a chip already in you, it's like a pacemaker at that
Yeah,
point.
it's like a
Exactly.
premature death prevention.
My thing is, how hard would the divorce rate be if you lived longer? Because I feel like right now you get married and you're like, we're going to be together for 40, 50, 60 years, man. 70 years. Some people long if you live long.
We're together for 100
And it's like,
years.
I got to deal with you for another 120 years.
yeah.
I feel like at 78, you'd be like, man, are we both sick of each other at this point? But
Or
I mean,
you
They'd
just
have to
open
reword.
relationships.
They'd have to reword those legal terms to say natural life.
dude, that should be a movie, though.
Yeah.
That should be a movie where everybody in society lives to 140, and at your halfway mark, you have to start over. It's like you have to tell your kids, you forget who your kids are, you forget who your wife is, and then you start over. And like you have to you're already
as
aged.
a child or as
As an adult.
a
You
full-grown adult?
yeah, you have like a whole new job that you have
Yeah,
to
but
do.
then that sucks because then the kids still know who you are, but you don't know who they are.
That's part
That
of the movie.
sucks.
They're like, Dad, you
Until
don't remember?
they know who you are until they turn 70, Chris.
Yeah.
And then it
I
starts
know
over for them.
But how bad would that
Whoa.
be? Like if you had kids late in life, and
Yeah.
now you've reached that term where you have to start over, and your kids are
It's
like
the worst.
12.
Yeah, Dad's reanimating next year.
And you just goes, brr, brr, and he
Think
just
about that,
doesn't
though.
know anything. But you're like, but Dad,
It'd be like 2 deaths in your lifetime. You'd have to be able, like, if there was a set time. Think how weird this is, bro. You'd have to say, like, Dad, like, tomorrow's the day, guys. I'm reanimating. I love you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
miss you.
It's like
and you
a
have to
live
hug Dad
funeral
for the
almost.
last time,
no.
knowing, and then like Dad's just like, yeah, Dad's got a new wife. He doesn't even know who we are anymore. Like, how weird
But
would life be?
why would you just like, would you not want to talk to these people and be like, oh yeah, so I was your father.
No,
Okay,
what if
tell
they
me
told
more.
you
Like,
in order to live that long, because we have the technology to do it, you have to have a second life. Like, you're not getting to infant again. It's not some Benjamin Button shit. I'm just saying I'm saying they come to you and they say, listen, you served 70 years in the military. Now this next 70 years, like, what job do you want? You have to have a new job. We need to refresh everything and make sure that you're doing something different. And for whatever reason, I don't know why that would be.
Dude.
I'm not a movie writer, but how weird would that be? That would be fucking
well,
bizarre,
some
dude.
people like Big Ron say that shit happens all the time with the secret space program. You know what I mean? Like the 20 to
Sure.
life, they go out there, they do 20 years, and
I
they
feel
come
like-
back same age.
I feel like if they did that, they would have to have like the look at the little flash thing, like on Men in Black, and flash everybody.
Exactly.
That would be
Yeah.
torturous, man.
It would be torturous. But, like, it's torturous to die. You know, to a lot of people, like, it's very
it
scary
would be
to die.
worse for like if they died and then they got reanimated and now they don't know who you are.
Do I
but
need
they're living
to
still.
make myself clear? I don't want this. I'm saying as a movie, it would be a fascinating movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be a really fascinating
I guess
movie.
there's a couple kinks in there that we'd have to.
Oh, there's a
out,
ton
but
of kinks. Listen, I'm not, any of these great producers and shit or writers that could. I'm just saying the idea of like, how do you handle, like, our lives right now, 70, 80 years, the expectation.
Oh, dude,
and a
I
little
know,
bit more.
I know how you handle it, dude.
How?
I know how you handle it. Hey, you're guaranteed to live another life, but you have to go live on Mars. That's how they get Mars populated. There you go. Wow. It's done and done. Solved. Musk wants to populate Mars.
I'd do it.
Offer him another life on Mars.
What if that was instead of like, yeah, but what if that was the thing is like, hey, you're close to death. We can reanimate you. But like you said, it's not everybody does it. It says if you want to continue to live for another lifetime, you have to live it on another planet.
Yep.
So it's not like
go.
you think, like everybody has a chip and we all live to 140. It's like you can live to 140, but you have to actually leave everything you know and go somewhere else and like repopulate a planet.
And what if it's hell on that planet, dude? You're dealing with like gigantic bugs. You know what I mean?
Well, you wouldn't know any different.
Yeah.
What if like we weren't as spry as we thought, and you just have a Mars full of fucking Bidens
Full of fucking
who are
80-year-old
like
people.
functioning, but they're not functioning well, and it's like, and it's like you got 70 years of.
You want to touch my leg hair?
Yeah, dude. Old T-bone over here.
I love cockroaches.
I mean, yeah, dude. Like, listen, it gets weird and it gets very sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? Once you start thinking of like living longer, because we're so used to like having a time span.
I would like to have like an interview with Elon and have him elaborate on this reanimate the body statement.
Well, that was Neuralink, to be fair. It was not Elon Musk. So I don't know. I don't know
But
what
Elon
they were
Musk
thinking.
is Neuralink.
I mean, to a point, but he doesn't control everything that they say. Like, he doesn't run their Twitter account.
No,
Dude,
but
how many generations would you know? If you lived to 140, like you would be the like great grandfather. Like it would be how far would that go? Because like
because I mean, right
You're
now
talking
you
20
probably,
to 30
your
years.
life ends right around the time you have great grandkids, right? Most of the time,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
or maybe just
Actually,
grandkids. You're just
I had a
grandkids.
great grandfather when I was born.
Really?
Yeah, the Repluggles. Yeah, I think is that what it is?
Yeah,
no,
you'd
maybe it's just
probably
great grandfather.
see about six generations, probably, right?
So what? What are you talking about?
Like if you were able to live that long with these chips and stuff,
Yeah.
how many generations would you actually see of your family?
I did have a great grandfather when I was born. I have one picture. I'm the only kid in our family that has a picture.
I
with my
bet
great
you'd
grandfather.
be average about 6 generations that you'd see.
Probably.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you'd see your family tree growing, like
Well,
literally.
dude, it's now you're talking about like Moses and the Bible shit, like where they lived to be hundreds of years old. You know?
Oh, that's what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, it's all biblical.
Like how? Listen, I say this as a joke, but like old people's ears get bigger when they grow. Like if you're 140, you got fucking Dumbos, bro.
Touching the floor.
Yeah, they say
Like
they say your nose and your ears
Yeah.
don't ever stop going.
You got to
right?
stint some of that shit because like I don't want my balls on my ankles. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta limit some of it. We don't want boobies all the way down to the floor.
Well, that's why they invented plastic surgery first.
Yeah, you would have to. I feel like you would honestly have to get plastic surgery at that point because you'd be so saggy at 90, 100.
200-year-old sack, dude.
God.
that thing's touching the ground.
Talk about worn out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fucking
Wear and
swollen
tear, baby.
and worn. That's what I'm saying. In order for that to work, you'd have to have some reversing technology. You would have to.
Yep.
Wow, that's a fucking interesting shit. I really like this shit. Like
I do
I
too.
like this because I think when you watch these movies and you see some of this weird shit and it's like, there's a lot of truth to some of that stuff. At least like you could look at it and say it's very possible that it can happen. It maybe not in our lifetime, but in our kids, our grandkids' lifetimes. How much has it grown in the past 50, 60 years?
Well, and
You
then
know?
they say that movies are like kind of like a revelation of the method or a revelation of these technologies or these things that we already are doing, like the military.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a soft disclosure type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you seen? I just saw a clip of it, and I haven't watched it because I don't. Do you guys have Apple TV at all?
No.
Yeah.
So there's a show on there called Silo. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, dude, I saw a clip of it and it made me very interested. I don't have Apple, but it's got the gal from The Office. She was the girlfriend for a little while when Pam was out of the picture. She was, a pretty gal.
Yep.
But apparently they have this 144-story underground bunker where all humans are living.
Yep.
And they have like these projectors on all, like, their windows shows the world outside is like this desolate, like gray.
But it's fake.
But like people are kicked out of it supposedly, and they have to go outside and clean the cameras. But it's really like there's something out there that kills them. There's like a barrier. But the guy, basically, she was saying like, I don't believe that what we're seeing out these windows is what's really out there. And she said, if I go outside and I wipe the camera, then you know that what's out here is not real. And so she went outside and she wiped the camera, and then it shows her like falling over, and like the husband. It's I don't know how this all plays out, but it's like this whole thing of like
it looks fucking fantastic.
I'm
it looks
gonna have to
really
watch that.
bizarre, and I don't know because obviously it's a clip. I don't know like what is outside. Why did she fall over? If it's because she saw green and like just trees and butterflies, but then she collapsed. So it's like what is out there? But why
It's
are
like
they
a toxic environment, probably.
Yeah, but there's like this hierarchy of shit and shit. It's like a weird. It's a weird fucking.
I'm gonna have to look
yeah.
that up.
It's like it's kind of like that analogy of is it Plato's cave?
I don't know anything about that. I know Plato's Closet, that crappy clothing store.
where essentially the allegory of the cave, right? Where you had Plato.
Never heard of that.
Plato's cave, right? Where you have the shadows, like the guys behind the wall. They're putting up the shadow figures, and the people are sitting behind the wall, and they're looking up at the shadows, and they're saying, "Dude, there's more out there. Like there's actually a world out there." And then the guy crawls out of the cave, then comes back and tells everybody down in the cave, "Hey, look, there's a beautiful world out there. There's actually a sun." And they go, "I don't believe you," and all this shit, right?
Yeah, I remember that now. Okay,
Yeah.
it's bizarre, but I think we all like that sci-fi stuff. I think in general, like it makes for good movies because there's also the intrigue of like, how is life going to be? And I think most people recognize over the past 70 years, technology has advanced so quickly compared to we don't know that to be true. It could actually have been very technically advanced. We just forgot about it. Thanks, mud floods. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying we don't know how advanced we were.
No, I actually seen a couple clips last night where they were alluding that ancient times used a lot of sound vibration to accomplish everything they did. Like that's how they would lift up large objects. That was how they move things around.
That's how they built churches. I just saw that.
Frequency and vibration.
Old cathedrals was actually built from sound waves. That's why the windows have the fucking sound wave looking things. And the windows, like they actually believe that they use sound waves to like construct the fucking rock.
Oh yeah? Was it
dude.
the church choir? They're like, "Come on, hit that note. Come on, Barbara."
I mean,
Barbara, you're too flat. Look, you have an imperfection in the stained glass.
Or the reverse, where you said, "Barbara, great window there. You really hit that note there. That was really nice."
Exactly.
Yeah, great sand work.
oh god.
Right on.
But no, there's
good
interesting stuff.
conversation, you guys.
I think
This
it's
was a
fun,
fucking
dude.
fun episode.
I think it's fun, and I think it's exciting to see where we can go. Yeah. But it's also very, very scary for a person who's been in both parts, and that's where
I
we
just have
problems.
one request. If we end up living to 150 years old and we actually accomplish the flying cars, can we make the flying cars look like the Jetsons?
We need flying cars, damn it.
I think we can do better than the Jetsons.
Or maybe like have flying cars that look like they're from the 50s or 60s.
I'm cool with that. Retro is always better, dude.
Yeah.
But you never know. Maybe they'll make us forget retro. Greg, cheers to you, my man.
Cheers, sirs.
Cheers to you.
Audience. Pardon My American Podcast everywhere. Leave a review.
Pardon My American Podcast? You mean
The Last Americans Podcast.
Last Americans Podcast everywhere. Did I say that?
Yeah, you said Pardon My American. The old habits.
Oh,
the old
habits die hard.
The Last Americans Podcast, guys. Go sign up now.
Follow us on Instagram for all your updates.
There you go.